All right, so looking at the best prop bets that we have today, the best one is actually going to be Yandy Diaz. It's actually going to be for his over fantasy score. So I'm actually very curious right now. This is a bet that's on the popular tab. About 3,000 people have already made this bet. I'm wondering if it's because of his last 5 average or if because other people are seeing that the data is telling us to bet the over. Kind of an interesting one there, but we can see based off of the data, his line today should be much higher than it is, and it does. The data does like the over. The projection data likes the over. So all in all, this is going to be one of the better prop bets that we have on the day. But you're also going to see 2 other prop bets today in which they're popular bets right now, whatever that's worth. I know yesterday the popular bets all chalked, which was very unfortunate. Not a good day yesterday. Well, I should have given an underdog slip. It would have been a good day then, which stupid of me not to do that for you guys. So Diaz, I'm happy to get to. We got Morel for under his hitting fantasy score. And again, I'm wondering if this is on the popular tab because the last 5 games he's gone the over and really crushed. Now it's a different matchup. I do think we should take that into account, but we're going to see that as under is one of the best. So I'm very interested. It's like, are people just betting off the last 5 or are they looking at the data telling us to bet the under? It's very interesting, kind of the thoughts that are going in. I'm very interested in that. Like, are people betting the over because of the last 5? Same thing with Diaz. Are people betting the under because of the last 5? And to me, it makes perfect sense why the data would be telling us the opposite, because one, positive regression, and then normal regression. Like Morel probably is going to have a bad game here because he's just been over his projected average too much lately. And so it does make sense. And then we look at the next one. It's going to be Juan Soto for under his fantasy score of 8.5. And so again, about 1,000 people have bet this. Now this one kind of makes more sense where there's not like too much of an extreme between the last 5. So I would say, yeah, people are betting the under here because the data is telling us to bet the under there. So, you know, seemingly a good prop bet. But as it sits right now, like those are probably the 3 best ones that I feel good about. Now we are seeing De La Cruz, Cody Bellinger. I would say some of these kind of go hand in hand with Morel again, his under fantasy score. Like Cody Bellinger, teammate Morel, like it makes sense why if one's going to struggle, the other one should struggle as well. Kind of correlates decently well together. Like if one of them gets a RBI, the other one's probably going to get a run and whatnot. We got Kyle Schwarber there. De La Cruz for his under as well, who for what it's worth, like De La Cruz has been he's been batting later on in the lineup, which I do think has been hurting him a little bit in terms of getting his over fantasy points. So that is one that does make sense to me as to why the data is kind of telling us to bet the under there. So we are seemingly getting a lot of good under prop bets. I wish we were getting more over fantasy score prop bets. We were getting one. Randy, if you guys want to bet us over, you can, but that's a little bit too high for me to like. And then let's just show you guys real quickly on PrizePicks these other ones in which aren't fantasy score related, because I know a lot of people sometimes, even though they're pretty good to bet on, I know a lot of people don't want to bet those. So here we go. We got a bunch more there. And that's the thing about MLB right now. It's that there's so many good bets out there. It's kind of tough to give you guys, all right, here are the 4 or 5, 6 that I like the most, because there's so many different routes that you can go. It's kind of just been a volume-based betting 2 weeks for me with MLB, where it's just, you know, be smart about the bets, but just in a way place a lot of bets. And I hate encouraging people to do that, especially today on Flex Friday, where you could place a $20 to $5 bet. I know they've been limiting some people, and it's a risk-free day for a lot of people, which is fine. Like, let's do that, right? So let's stick with MLB, and let's get into Underdog as well. Again, this was a tool that I worked on 2 days ago to get up ready on the website. Right now, we're not really getting any fantasy score prop bets for them just yet. I'm doing this video a little bit earlier, but if you guys want to take any of these EV bets that are out there, by all means, go for it. I was hoping that we would get some good pitching strikeout props. We're just not getting those. The one that we had that was decent has been bumped to a push, so it's not really even worth mentioning. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into the NBA. So NBA today, guys, we have a ton of injury news that we are waiting on. It will be super difficult to break the slate down to the point where I might, depending on my 8-month-old's nap time, I might be able to do a live stream later on this afternoon to just break that down as well, and maybe the afternoon games for MLB as well. No guarantees there at all. But that'd be my goal. And that's just because we should be getting better bets throughout the day. Just there's so much injury news that we are waiting on that it's super difficult to break down. Like right now, guys, Zion is a game time decision. If he says CJ McCollum would look better, Trey Murphy would look better, like we just don't know what's going to happen there. A lot of the Washington players are banged up. Derek White for over 3 or 4.5 rebounds could be a good one. He is also a game time decision. Jaylen Brown, a game time decision. If Brown were to sit, he'd be much more likely to get there. I think it's worth calling out for the Spurs. stars like Keldon Johnson is out, Osman's out, Barlow is out. So like someone like Zach Collins should get a little bit more run, but they have been playing Sandro a little bit more. Like, it's just, I don't want to give you guys information that's going to change. Like, all the Bucks are currently game time decisions. It'd be a guessing game as to which one's going to be active right now. It's just that point of the season, to the point where I don't want to give you guys bets that could drastically change in a good way or a bad way. And it's purely just a guessing game right now, which is unfortunate. Now, we are getting some slight edges, like Josh Hart for over 9.5 rebounds here, which is insane to me, but on Underdog it's at 10, so like maybe a slight edge there. I did want to show this to you guys in case you guys see any bets that you like based off of your research, but it's super difficult to tell you guys like, all right, that's a good bet right now, because and like Underdog wise, we are getting some pretty good edges right now, but it is kind of like a guessing game still. Like for the Spurs, like Trey Jones, him playing well kind of correlates decently with Wemby getting a lot of minutes. Now, this is a good EV bet to bet the under 7.5 assists. We shouldn't ignore that. Same thing with Trey Mann and Alex Caruso. Like, those are good bets that we should be making. RJ Barrett for over his assists. Like, those are good bets that we should be making for sure. But here's the thing. Most of those bets are not going to be available by the time a lot of you guys are watching this video. It's just what it is. Like, we have good bets here for sure. But you guys know by now, I hate giving out bets that are going to get bumped throughout the day where it just doesn't help you guys. Like, I can almost guarantee you all these ones that are 54% likely or better are going to get bumped by the time most of you guys get here. So I just hate giving those out because it's not helpful for you guys. So with that, let's just go ahead and jump into some golf as well. So yesterday, golf-wise, I was very tilted because Underdog should have been a massive day. The one player that missed was the guy that had the first round lead. Don't need to get into it too much, but kind of unlucky because Underdog was vastly overvaluing how easy the course was going to play. So a lot of the under bets that were pulling up on the Underdog tab ended up hitting. So we'll get into that in just a second here. But if you guys want to run out some of these ones, you could. It's interesting today. So the course, I'll just show you guys real quick. The course is set up to play easier today because, well, it's supposed to get windier, more windy throughout the day. So you guys can see 9 a.m. not too bad. And then as it gets going on later, it's going to be more windy. So typically speaking, the golfers that are teeing off early are going to score a little bit better. So if you guys want to take that into account, you can. But that's why we're getting some of these lines that are seemingly too low for a lot of golfers that are going in the late tee times. And so the one thing that I'm shocked that PrizePicks and Underdog do is they actually give us the tee times for a lot of these golfers, which you can use to your advantage to make smarter bets, basically. So like, these two should be good bets to be pushes at 3 birdies or better. And for the most part, guys, just as an FYI, wind really starts to play a big difference in terms of scoring average when it gets over 15 mile per hour sustained winds. So it's not too crazy. So really, they should still be able to score on the holes that they're projected to be able to score on, if that makes sense. I don't want to get into it too much. And then showing you guys Underdog as well, it's going to be kind of the exact same thing. So like Eric Cole, Bo Hosler for over the birdies or better are seemingly good prop bets today. So this is like the exact opposite board of what we had yesterday. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I'd be fine with running these out. They're lower than they should be. So the average sportsbook data here is kind of based off of how the tournament had played in years past. The tournament was windy in years past. The tournament was more like these conditions that we have today as an FYI. So because of that, we're seeing Underdog is probably, they went too hard yesterday in terms of their lines being too high. And now, yes, today they're kind of flipping it, which they shouldn't be. And again, I'm still kicking myself for yesterday because it should have been, I'm not even mad at myself. I'm mad at Akshay Bhatia for having the first round lead. Probably spent way too much time on golf. No one really cares about it. But if you do, guys, I have a Masters preview out on my 9 to 5 golf YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. And if you guys have not subscribed to that channel, would appreciate that. That's a big help there. But yeah, I want this video to be massive. That's why I came out with it earlier. So if you guys could help me out, I would appreciate that. And then lastly for this video, I do want to get into the discrepancies that we have again, just because the MMA ones, it's worth noting. So again, the fight time here seems to be very different than what it should be. And you can kind of see that does correlate pretty well with significant strikes right here, where they're both saying the same message, which at least makes sense, I think, right? Like the fight time being higher makes sense for significant strikes there. I think that makes sense. I do want to point out this one as well for saves here. Again, probably shouldn't be at 1 for a difference. Probably should be at 4 is what the data is telling us here. So if you want to bet the over on PrizePicks and the under on Underdog, that makes sense. That makes for a good middle there as well. And then just real quickly, I want to show you guys that, if we take off the fantasy score one, again, we are getting a decent pitching strikeout prop that I will include on the bet of the day. But again, I expect it to get bumped. There was just one in here that I liked as well that literally got bumped as I was trying to finish the video. So it's tough. It's tough to give you guys that type of props. So in simple, these are going to be the 4 bets that I run out as it sits right now. It is Flex Friday, so if this one does indeed get bumped, I would be fine just running these 3 out for Flex Slip. Again, hopefully we get some more NBA prop bets throughout the day. I mean, we will. You can maybe wait and see if we get better NBA bets, which I think we will, just as an FYI. It's just I have no clue when those are going to come out. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the tools, head on over to 9to5sports.com. That's going to be all. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.